Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tats. Harihi Om Tats. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru. Vishuddha sattvasya gunah prasadaha svatmanubhudihi parama prashantihi triptihi praharshaha paramatmanistha yaya sadanandarasam samruchati. Vishuddha sattvasya guna prasadaha svatmanubhudihi parama prashanti tripti praharshah paramatmanistha yaya sadanandarasam samruchati. You have been listening to, not only now, must have been earlier also, the exposition about the self. In spirituality, the sole focus is on oneself, oneself, oneself. In religion, you always look to and rely upon God. Where is this God? Nobody knows. Everybody will accept and admit that God is omnipresent, present everywhere. If He is present everywhere, can you not have an all-fold focus? Everywhere focus, always focus. Nobody thinks in these lines. God is omnipresent. If He is omnipresent, He is around you, He is surrounding you. He is also permeating within your body. So can you be distanced from God? Even if God wants to distance you, can you do it? Can He do it? And will you become distant from Him? But nobody thinks in this manner. But understand that human life is solely depending upon your thinking process. As you think, so you become. As you think, so you become. So in the thought process, if you make a mistake or you suffer from any insufficiency, you will find you will never attain your goal. Even with regard to ordinary life, activity and interaction, everything is done by the mind. When your mind is organized, whatever you do will be organized. When the mind is disorderly, everything that you do will also become disorderly. The focus should always be on the mind. The words I recited is from Viveka Chudamani, the last composition the great Shankaracharya made in his lifetime. So you will find that fullness and maturity in this composition. What does he say? A spiritual man, one who takes up spirituality and pursues it, he passes through stages. What is the stage? Does his body change? Certainly not. Does the blood change? No. What about bones and marrow? No, they don't change at all. The stuff to change is the inner personality consisting of the mind, intelligence and ego. So there will be mental transformation. There will be intellectual or intelligential transformation. What is the transformation? It can clearly be noticed. It can clearly be noticed. You know what is the nature of your mind? Are you truthful? Are you honest? How far are you ignorant? How far have you become illumined? All these can be known very well. As the seeker progresses in his path, he will reach a state of Mishra Sattva, an admixtured purity. Thereafter he will reach a stage of Vishuddha Sattva, fully developed Sattva Guna. Prakriti consists of three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. And the sattva guna is the one that represents wisdom, light, brilliance, clarity, comfort, happiness and blissfulness. So when the sattva guna grows and he has become a vishuddha sattva in whom the sattva guna shines in its best. These are the lakshanas, the features, the characteristics that will become manifest. What are they? Vishuddha sattvasya gunaha. The qualities and virtues of the Vishuddha sattva are prasada. We are using the word prasada generally with regard to the item we get from a temple or similar places. What is actually prasada? Prasada refers to the prasannata of your own mind and intelligence and heart. What is prasannata? Placidity, a state of comfort, happiness. It can go up to the level of ecstasy also. Exhilaration. When you are feeling very comfortable, the mind is comfortable. It has no botheration, it has no agony, it has no suffering. We don't have to say good morning. The morning becomes good. Becomes good. The midday becomes good. The evening becomes good. Night becomes good. Everything becomes good. Vishuddha sattvasya guna prasadaha, the pleasantness of the mind. Swatma anubhudihi. We always say and speak about Atma, 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 the self, the self, the self. Here now you experience it. My dear souls, whatever experience you have, it is actually from the self. The body is inert. It is just a mass of inert matter made up of food. I would like you to understand it, underscoring the sentence. It is a mass of food. It is a mass of matter, an outcome of food. So it cannot generate any experience at all. At the same time, you know that you have a body. You always say, I am, I am, I am. Are you referring to the existence of the body? Certainly not. In sleep, you don't have the body for 8 hours a day. So the I am refers to something different from the body. In sleep, you are unconscious of the body, world, mind, intelligence and ego. So that amness will be felt. Svatmanubhudehi, parama prashantihi. You will have superlative shanti, peacefulness, quietude. Triptihi, contentment. Praharshaha, exhilaration. Paramatmanishta. This is the one word I would like you to ponder over for several hours. We have so many nishtas, vows and disciplines and practices. But Paramatmanishta is something entirely different. Where you understand and realize the self, you also realize that it is all-pervading, like God. If God is all-pervading and self also is all-pervading, naturally God is the self and self is God. So you will have no doubt in your mind. Paramatmanishta. In that, I don't know whether you will understand when I say, there is no meditation even. You outlive meditation. What you have in meditation or seek to have in meditation, that you have overflowing in you every time. Recognizing the self, experiencing the self, understanding that everything is an extension of the self, a manifestation of the self. Even the body is a manifestation of the self. Mind, intelligence and ego also are. The entire world, the senses perceive. The senses are a manifestation of the self. The objects are a manifestation of the self. Self alone is, not else. Self, 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 self. Thought is the self. Thinker is the self. Thinking is the self. Unthinking is the self. Pre-thinking is the self. Thinking substance is the self. Self alone is. So everything is the self. This kind of a perception, I cannot call it perception. That is the only word we have. All our words are based upon objects of the world. So our vocabulary is object-based. But this is a subjective experience. With the object vocabulary, how can you explain the subject? Think, 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 think. We are discussing the subject and you will have no words to describe the subject. Paramatmanishta yaya sadanandarasam samruchadi. This Paramatmanishta, an incessant, comprehensive, ceaseless, wholesome, all-enfolding thought process. Sadanandara samruchadi, by virtue of which you are able to enjoy, experience the taste of the bliss arising from Sat. Sat. Now you are getting, if at all, a taste of the objects, interaction with the objects. Senses are objects. Objects of the world are objects. So the senses are interacting with. Experience arises inside. But it is conditioned by the senses and the objects. Therefore, it is not in full measure. It is not in full purity, fineness and refinement. Here you start getting the subtle, inward, incessant, ceaseless, wonderful sensation which is indescribable. Let us at least say that it is blissful. Yaya sadanandarasam samruchadi. My dear souls, I am speaking, Nutun Swamiji and Ma also, we are speaking about this kind of an experiential self. It is not self in the form of a thought, an idea, or an imagination, or a concept. It is the unobliterable presence in your body, which you always experience. When the body becomes dead, the one who was living never feels he has died. Others say, touch the body and then say it is breathless. So they consider it to be dead and arrange for cremation. Nobody cremates the life in the body. Nobody cremates the enlivening principle or presence in the body. So none of you has death. None has died. All are living. Livingness alone is the truth. When the livingness is unable to be manifested in the body, let others deal with the body. You have nothing to do with it. Dear souls, never fear death. Mrityur atyanta vismriti. It is a total forgetfulness. Every day you enter into sleep. It is actually death. But you wake up the next morning, so you cannot call it death. But death will be a sleep from which you will never wake up. So never bother about death or how it will come and what will happen after that. Let others worry about it. You are ever living, ever living, ever living, ever present, ever present, ever present. Never becoming absent, ceaselessly present. Yaya sadanandarasam samruchadi. Vishuddha sattvasya guna prasadaha Swatmanubhuti parama prasanti tripti praharsha paramatmanishta yaya sadanandarasam samrichadi. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hari Om Tatsat. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru.